I'll be going through the answers quickly, so make sure your course book is open and in front of you. And please stop and rewind the video as you need to. So, got your book open in front of you? Are your answers in capitals? Want to know why the answers are the answers? Then let's go. There's a couple of clues here for question number 1, most notably the example question, 0, because it says there, is there anything more reassuring than the sound of rain? So reassuring is an adjective. The reason why it gives us a clue is because the sentence with question number 1 follows the same format. All, more, what? In other words, we need another adjective to describe what follows. And that adjective, given the context that we need, is irresistible. For question number 2, the sentence begins, but as you may have guessed, comma, gap, comma, and then it continues. Given that particular structure where we've got comma, gap, comma, it's the first, if you're a big fan of linking devices and things like that, and discourse markers, transitions, whatever you want to call them, like I am, then that's the first clue that we're going to need an adverbial of some kind. And indeed, the adverb makes sense because it modifies the verb phrase beforehand, which is the way that we might have guessed. So how did we guess? We guessed unsurprisingly. In other words, what follows is not going to be a surprise to us. Question number 3, easy language pattern. Before the gap we've got an article, after the gap we've got the noun to which that article refers. What do we need here? Of course, we need an adjective. And the correct adjective that we need is soothing. What's the key to question number 4? Well, we've got the article the before the gap, so of course we need a noun of some kind. But which noun do we need? Is it going to be a plural noun or a singular noun? Well, the key to that is actually in the second line, where it says, according to some new research. Some new research is not specific, which means that it's general in approach, which means that the context might be that we're talking about pieces of research, or it could be possibly a single piece of research. But because it's not specific, and it could have been specific, it could have said, according to the new research done by ... but it doesn't. So we've got a general approach here, which means, getting back to question number 4, the noun has to reflect that in terms of what it means. In other words, the noun has to be plural, because the singular noun doesn't fit the context of generality. So the answer here is rankings. Question number 5, easy peasy. Article before the gap. We don't have the noun to which the article refers. What's the noun that we need? Anticipation. The key to getting question number 6 right is to work out what it is that has to be modified in this as comparative form. The sentence in general talks about sounds and senses and experiences and exhilarations and things like this, but the only thing that has to be modified is the verb, which is create. How does it create? Well, it creates something powerfully. And that's what we've got here. The sounds around us create atmosphere and emotion as powerfully as any other sense. So we're modifying the verb create, which is why the answer has to be an adverb, and which is why the answer is powerfully. Question number 7. Let's have a look at the language pattern. We've got a modal verb, can, followed by a bare infinitive, be, followed by our gap, and after that it says to any memorable experience. What we need here is an adjective. It can be what? What is the adjective of the stem word? The answer is central. So it can be central to any memorable experience. Question number 8, much like question number 2, is a linker or discourse marker of some kind. And as I mentioned in question number 2, very often with linkers and discourse markers that connect two ideas or connect two sentences, provide a flow in the text, they very often are adverbials. And that's exactly what we need here. We need an adverb. And the adverb that we need is predictably.